Welcome back, ladies and gents. Once again, you have been marooned on Clash Island, the show where we sit around and we ricochet ideas off of our fellow nerds, our fellow anime fans, and fans of the pop culture within the culture itself. I am your host, DEFF-SOUL, and today's topic, second video of the day, I might add, is something that if I was watching Family Guy, they would say really grinds my gears. In other words, it's annoying the absolute shit out of me. And what is annoying me is absolute unmitigated glaze that this prospect by the name of Caleb Williams is receiving is damn near sickening. It is asinine how much smoke the experts are blowing up his ass. So we're going to have his highlights from the 2023 season playing in the background, and I'm going to give my apparently very hot take on the situation surrounding him. Now, mind you, I'm going into the situation completely unbiased, only based on what I've seen, the information that's out there, his stats, and the tape that's going to be playing in the background. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. If I was a hit or if it was a miss. If I was too harsh, let me know. But we're going to get into it. I'm going to immediately switch over to live feed. Like I said before, in the background is playing his 2023 highlights. And I want y'all to take a real close look at this. If I can get it to play. Now I'm going to sit here and look at this, right? If you really watched who he put these big numbers up against, because I think he threw for like 35, 36 touchdowns in college football. That's incredible in one season. So he was great, but, and there's a very big but, based on highlights, the tape, I'm not seeing generational talent. I do see first of all, can't even talk. I do see first overall pick. I do see that. But you got pundits, you got analysts like Nick Wright saying this man is already a top 10 quarterback in the NFL and he hasn't even started one down of meaningful football. That's ridiculous. You sound, if you're one of those people who have said something like that, you sound insane. And you are shitting on the rest of the quarterbacks who have put years into perfecting their craft. To say that this kid, who is undersized at the quarterback position, mind you, undersized like Baker Mayfield, undersized like Brock Purdy, undersized like Zach Wilson, like Russell Wilson, undersized at 6'1", you're saying this man, watching the tape, is already better than 22 other starters? He's a top 10 quarterback? That's ridiculous. Like, come on, man. The arm talent is there. The playmaking ability is there. The athleticism is absolutely there. But where I have reservations, where I have hesitancy at, is the stuff that's up here and in here. Yes, I'm bringing up the crying on the sideline. If you're supposed to be a franchise-changing quarterback, like they called him, a generational talent, like they called him, when you're on your third loss of the season, your team needs you because they had way more expectations going into the 2023 season. People were talking playoffs. Some teams were saying, some analysts were saying that you guys were going to be in the final game, the playoff game to decide who's the college football champion. And not only did you not get there, you didn't even get remotely close. USC had 5 losses. In all 5 of those losses, Caleb Williams was the starter. You have to be culpable with that. Now, I'm not a team wins person when it comes to college football. I'm really not. But if you really watch those games, who did they lose to? Ranked opponents? Who did they dominate? Unranked opponents? If I remember correctly, if you check his stats, I'm pretty sure he threw like 3 interceptions against Notre Dame. You lose your third game on the season, and instead of rallying the troops, instead of being out in front, keeping your team together, where do we see Caleb Williams? He goes and runs to the sideline, climbs up in the stands, and boo-hoo cries to his mommy. I don't care what y'all say. The leader of men does not do that. And that's just one red flag. Second, again, you go up against Oregon, you go up against Penn State, You go up against Utah, and then you go up against Notre Dame. And how did you look? You did not look like the superhuman that they keep telling me that you are. You did not. Didn't even win the game. Now, granted, he did play like he had to be Superman because his defense was so terrible, but so did Lamar Jackson. How did Lamar Jackson look at Louisville when his defense was terrible? He looked like the best player in college football, and he was. Heisman winner just like Caleb Williams, but when he went up against the best team at that time, which was Clemson, led by Deshaun Watson, how did Lamar Jackson look? He was incredible. But let's flip it. Him against Oregon, was he incredible? No. Was he very good? Yes. How did he look against Penn State? He was not incredible, I can tell you that. How did he look against Notre Dame? Multiple turnovers. Red flag number 2. Red flag number 3. And I blame the media and some of the analysts for this, but he is very arrogant. And he shouldn't be. Confident, yes. Arrogant, no. Caleb, what big game did you win in college? What game did you play that where you could confidently say, when I get drafted number 1 overall, I want to be able to pick where I go, and to the team that takes me, I want future partial ownership of that team. Who the hell do you think you are? First of all, that's against the rules. You can't do that. As a current player, that's against the bargaining agreement. You can't do that. And even if you could, who the hell do you think you are? You lose a game, they interview you. You don't want to talk right after the game, but they interview you hours after the fact. And what do you say? Yeah, I'm really down in the dumps right now, and I just really want to go home, eat some ice cream, and cuddle up with my dogs. Does that sound like the future leader of men to you? Because when we flipped it, and Joe Burrow was in college, he lost a game. Not in the 2019 season. Obviously, they went undefeated that year. The year before that, when he lost a game, did he want to go home and cry to his dogs and eat ice cream and watch his shows? No. He was with his teammates, keeping that team together. Because they were not that powerhouse in 2018. I know, because my Gators got on their asses. But he was the unquestioned leader of his team. I'm not seeing leader of men qualities from him. Now, the painting the fingernails thing, I don't like it personally, but whatever. Let's throw that out. That's the generation that we're in right now. You know, that's the way these kids are. That's the way these kids are now. They're pushing the boundaries of masculinity, and I'm okay with it. Whatever. That's not a big deal. What is a big deal is the crying on the sideline. Is the arrogant behavior, is the nonchalant cockiness coming from him, knowing damn well you, wins-wise, you didn't do anything to match that arrogance from what I saw. The arrogance is what I'm seeing is coming from the amount of glazing that is coming from his fans and people who are seeing generational talent coming from him. Let's take a look at the tape, though. Playing against Arizona. What are we seeing? Arizona's 3-2. Has Arizona ever been relevant? No. No, they haven't. And look at this throw. Look at the separation that's there. I'm not saying he isn't playing with great talent. That is the son of Jerry Rice we're talking about. But then we're not going to have him living in his father's shadow. He's bigger and faster than Jerry was. He's a very physical receiver. That is a huge buff for Caleb. Not his fault. You're supposed to build a good team around your best players. But look at that separation. That's almost a 2-yard split in between him and the defenders back there. Let's look at the talent. Now, mind you, even though you're showing that highlight, how are you down 17-0? I don't want to hear anything about defense. Caleb, you had the ball. You had the ball. Why are you down 17-0 to Arizona? Interesting. Why'd you leave the pocket? Let's go back. Clean pocket. He immediately takes off running. Clean pocket. Athletic play. But that hero ball stuff is what got Zach Wilson in trouble. It's what got Patrick Mahomes in trouble early in his career. It's what got Baker Mayfield in trouble. You do not need to be Superman every play. But let's take a look at the tape. We're going to move ahead here. Next game. Because I think they wound up coming back. Coming back in that game. I think they came back at 1. But look at the score. Now, defense can't stop anybody. I understand that. So he went off in the game, true enough. But you're going up against unranked 3-2 Arizona. Why were you down 17-0? You see what I'm looking at? Why are you down 31-13? You're ranked 10 and you're 6. I'm pretty sure this was. They said this is 2023 highlights, but I'm not sure about that. I don't think they won 6 straight games before they started losing. I could be wrong about that, but if that is true and they're playing Notre Dame, as you can see, check the score. He had multiple turnovers in this game. Notre Dame was ranked 21st, a significant drop off from where they were, and they're 5-2. Why you only have 13 points? Late in the fourth quarter. Ranked opponent, but not a great team. Why do you look that bad? Interesting. That was a great throw. Almost overthrew him, but that was a great throw. Wide open. A lot of times with USC's wide receivers. It's a nice throw. See that? In the NFL, that's a pick. That's a pick. You notice Patrick Mahomes, who now has 3 Super Bowl wins, doing that as much. Because all that off-script hero ball stuff is cute for about 1 season. And then the league starts watching tape on you. And then those kind of passes start turning into pick sixes. And then you stop doing it. Trust me, you stop doing it. Like I said, he's very good. I'm not sure if I see greatness yet, though. I'm not sure if I see greatness. Athletic play. But again, you're going up against Cal, who is 3-4. And you're 6-2 at the time. Lost that game. Heard the commentator. Wide open. No pass rush there. Again, wide open. That receiver looked really small. This is rudimentary stuff. He plays hero ball against bad teams. Now, again, he is the unquestioned number 1 overall pick. I've seen his numbers. They're gaudy. I've seen them. That's not what translates to success at the collegiate level. At the pro level. We have proven this. You would have thought that the Chicago Bears would understand at this point that being great in college doesn't necessarily transition to you being great in the NFL. And he wasn't great in college. He had great moments, but production-wise, he wasn't great. Again, never been in the playoffs. Never beat a great team. From what I've seen, never beat a great team. And when you did go up in competition, he started to look very human. And some games, he was just bad. Like that Notre Dame game that they just showed. He was bad in that game. Look at this. Once it goes away. Why are you down 28-17 to Cal? Now, people are going to say, defense. You get the ball. If anything, it would be a tie score. If you're that prolific as a passer, you're that prolific as a playmaker, it would be a tie game, right? Wrong. This is why I have hesitancy. I'm not saying you can't clean that stuff up with great coaching, because you can. But again, he was wide open. The criticism is valid, but when you offer it, people talk like you're insane or something. Have the Chicago Bears not learned from players like Ryan Leaf, like Jamarcus Russell, that being the unquestioned number 1 overall pick doesn't necessarily mean you're going to become a generational player? To insinuate that he's going to be the next Mahomes because he runs around and throws the ball is ridiculous. He has a much better chance of being the next Baker Mayfield than he has being a 2-time MVP, 3-time league, 3-time NFL champion. What are we talking about? Now look, he's playing a great team right here. That was a good move. He's playing number 5 Washington. I almost forgot they played them. That's a great move. Oh, good spin cycle. Great play. That was a great play. But then again, I've seen Baker Mayfield do that. I've seen Johnny Manziel do that. I've seen Lamar Jackson do that. And better. He's a very good quarterback. But the glazing has got to stop. You guys are setting him up for failure. You're putting the expectations through the roof. You don't even know. You have a much better chance of him getting hurt, God forbid. A much better chance of him getting hurt early in his career and then him never turning out to be the generational talent that you guys keep calling him. I mean, just it always gets dealt in extremes. Nobody can ever just rank him as a great player. Oh, he's a great player. He's the number 1 overall pick. We're going to take him with the first pick. Why does he have to be better than 20 other starters in the league? What gave you an indication that he would be there? You have a much better chance of him being terrible than you have of him being the next Mahomes. Because Mahomes is what we call an outlier. Mahomes was drafted within the first 10 picks and goes to a really good team with a great head coach, the best tight end ever, and the fastest wide receiver in the league at the time, with a solid defense. That almost never happens. You get all of that up front. So by you blowing smoke up him like that, they lost that game too, by the way. Then you got Oregon, 8-1 Oregon. Let me spoil the suspense for you. They lost. Like, come on, they lost. I'm not sure if it was this Oregon game or the Washington game where he went on the sideline, but it's just, I'm watching this man play. He is really good. If he goes to a great situation, he could potentially be a franchise quarterback. Franchise changing, I don't know if I see it. Leadership skills right now, I definitely don't see it. He gets happy feet in the pocket. It's a lot of off-script, hero ball, throwing off his back foot, deep shots to wide open receivers. I see a lot of that. I don't see the sustenance in this game. I don't see the smarts of Andrew Luck. And some people are saying he's going to be better than Andrew Luck was. I'm not seeing it. Look at that. Completely wide open. That happens a lot with the teams he plays against. And that's Brendan, 6'3" Brendan Rice. He's probably the most underrated. He is the most underrated wide receiver in this draft. You see what I'm saying here? We're not going to drag this on, but it annoys the shit out of me because to me, by the amount of glaze, by the amount of insanity that's coming from some of these claims, you're not only disrespecting the league, you are setting ridiculous expectations for this young player who, again, has a much better chance of turning out to be the next Baker Mayfield. Going through 3 teams before he lands with the right one. Nobody wants that for him. I want him to be great. I want him to be great in the NFC. We need more parity. Because right now, what are there? There are 4 really good quarterbacks in the NFC, maybe 5 if you count Matthew Stafford. Because you got Matt Stafford, you have Jared Goff, you have Jalen Hurts, you have Brock Purdy, and you have Dak Prescott. Those are the 5, right? But there's like 9 on the AFC side. We need more parity, right? Because that parity breeds competition. But by you guys ranking him over starters who have been in the league for 6, 7, 8 years, that is ridiculously foolhardy. That is ridiculously asinine for somebody to assume that he's already better than, like, Nick Wright puts him toward the top of Nick Tiers or the quarterback mountain or the Mahomes mountain. You're ranking him over people who have won playoff games. Like, what are we doing here? Put him over people like Jared Goff, who's been to a Super Bowl. This man has not played one down of meaningful football. It has got to stop. It annoys the shit out of me. I want him to be great, but I don't see generational quarterback out of him yet. Again, he's undersized. He has never played and looked great against a great team. Usually does not win those games at all. And then, again, we have questions about his leadership skills. Let the man play it out first. And Caleb, if you ever, by some random god of a chance, if you ever watch this video, I need you to understand I have nothing personal against you. I don't believe in jealousy. I don't believe in hating. But let go of that arrogant side of you. This league will humble you fast. I know everybody's calling you the Mahomes 2.0. You are not there yet. You are nowhere near there yet. And you're going to see that really quickly. Being in a cold weather team, on a team that is still shaky when it comes to organizational stability, still shaky. You're going into a decent situation offensively. They got some weapons over there now for you to play around with. But you got to understand something. Green Bay is not going anywhere anytime soon. They were not expected to be as good as they were. Detroit is here now. They're not going anywhere. So you have to face both of those teams twice a year. And we don't know what Minnesota's going to do. They got to rebuild. They got to get another quarterback. They got to rebuild their defense because they just lost their best defensive player in Danielle Hunter. We got to see what they're going to do. But don't overlook them either. That is 6 games that is going to be significant competition, a significant step up from anything that you've ever seen. Don't fall into that crap and end up out of the league in 4 or 5 years. Don't fall into that. Understand something. You are only 6'1". It is a known fact. Shorter quarterbacks struggle to see over their guards. That's why a lot of the big plays are made where? Outside the tackles. That's not sustainable. It's not. As incredible as Drew Brees was, as incredible as Russell Wilson is, they're not very tall. They have admitted that they struggle to see over the line. It shows in some of their games. You need to understand that. Everything hurts worse in the freezing cold. You need to understand that too. Matt Eberflus, we don't even know if he's a good coach yet. Don't fall into that crap. And please, fans, stop with the glazing. You're setting the man up for failure. But that's our video. How is my aim? Am I spot on? Am I way off? Am I close? What do you think of what I said about this situation? If it's me personally, before we end it, I personally would have kept Justin Fields and let Caleb Williams sit behind him for a year. If you can't do it with Justin, that means nobody can. And then you elevate Caleb. He's the unquestioned starter. You can do that. You had the number 1 overall pick. You had some great receivers that you just got. You got a decent running back now with DeAndre Swift. The world is your oyster at that point. You do not need to start him at week 1. It's what I would have done. But then again, I'm not the GM of the Bears. I'm not the head coach of the Bears. But we're about to see how this is unfold. That does it for our video. Again, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Stay tuned for the next video. Again, we still have more streaming to do on Twitch. Be on the lookout for that. The Twitch link is in the bio, I want to say, on my channel because I haven't looked at it in a while, to be completely honest. But I want to thank you guys for watching. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. As always, you see what the hat says. I'm DEFF-SOUL, and we out of here, y'all.